Okay, so we have 4 out of 54 of the front lower parts to do, and you can now finally see, if I hold the camera up this way, you can finally see that there is a front wheel well. Where's the camera? Wheel well here, there, and this part here, where's the camera? Where this part here, which dips down at an angle, is intended as the front scoop dash splitter type thing, which you see on the things. So we've got, then you've got the piece that goes onto the floor, which goes up, so you get a curve on the floor. That's very, very deliberate. I didn't want a flat floor because the driver is sitting in the middle and I wanted them lower down. You can also see, finally, that the bonnet has this curve downwards as well, and that's the reason why these dip down by 2 centimeters compared to this, and this. So straight line, dip down by 2 centimeters, straight line, and this gives that curve on the bonnet dipping down, and it lines up. Get it right. These all line up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Now, let's put this back up the right way. This was so annoying what I've had to do. As I put in the diagonals in this box, this is up, I'll bring something that's going to come around the other way. So this is the correct way round. Hold the camera up high. Bonnet, main box, tunnel to the front with generator, batteries, front wishbone suspension, left wheel, right wheel, steering column coming up underneath the battery pack, which will be in this area here. Right. Now, as I assembled this tunnel and started putting in these diagonals, some of them were fine and some of them ended up being far too far away. So when I put it in, this pipe here was a gap of 5 millimeters away from this corner, which meant that this box here, this rectangle here, was doing this. So the diagonal that was supposed to be over here was way too small, and the glue is in no way strong enough to pull against that thing. So what I had to do was wrap some string, and you can see I've done it in multiple places. Now let me find one that I put some tape on as well. So this one here, what it did was wrap the string carefully around so that in places where it did not cut into the existing tape but also did not pull on the PLA, see the piece there that I'm pointing to down there? If you put the string around that PLA rather than around the central node point, which is buried inside here, you risk snapping this off if you put enough tension on. So for example, this string is down and pulling downwards. It's not around here, which could snap that off. So you have to be quite careful about putting the string on. There's one on the top here. Right. So I very carefully wrapped the string around here, made it go around here so it didn't cut into any of the tape. Likewise there. Right, it's going around there, coming around here. and then ties it in a tight bow. I'm not a sailor. There are plenty of videos on how to do knots and stuff like that that would do the job here, etc., etc. But I just did a double bow, right? As tightly as I could around here, whilst it was loose around this point here. You know, it was like 4 or 5 millimeters away here. And then inserted these to pull the two strings apart, which has the result of pulling them inwards. And then once I got that as tight as I could using scrap pieces, I then used tape to wrap even more again, so pulling in against this and this to give even more tension, and just put in some cases I put some tape and then that held it in place while I put another piece of tape that pulled in, making the first one redundant, but it doesn't matter, just leave it there. And in that way it's pulling against pulling on this. If it was pushing, there's absolutely no problem. I mean, there is it with in some cases if there's enough push pressure, these will actually bow. But the glue cannot cope with tension. It's just not enough, so I've had to put these strings in, and now I think I finally understand why in the GA boats, I haven't gone into the tutorials etc or bought the videos, but I think this is what the GA boats guy does, is you wrap the Dacron thread around the frame to pull in where the pieces are not going to be enough, and so I've had to do that in several places. It seems to be working out well. It's settled. The frame is sort of settled. Almost every single piece is in now, except for the front right corner. You can see I've done the left one. That's a pair of tetrahedrons, and what's the nice thing about that pair of tetrahedrons is it has stabilized this point here on the front bonnet, so that's not moving about, which means that if I described in the other videos that there is a trapezium which does not have a triangle bracing it, which is causing rocking. It's that's now stable, which means it can't wiggle about, which means that this trapezium isn't going sideways, which means that isn't pushing. And this will have this exact same thing on here, so there will be another double tetrahedron on here, there, which will achieve the same effect on this side. And what's nice is that's all out of the 21.5 PVC pipe, that stuff. That was very deliberate to use the PVC pipe on the front. You can tell from the style, let me put it up sideways again, that all on the outside edges I very deliberately used the PVC pipe. And so there's some more on there and thing, and on the bottom thing, but I didn't worry about it for these. Oh yes, apparently I did. Yes, that is 21.5. So the whole of the base and the sides going up around the wheel arch, and the front and the bonnet, the front bonnet, and that's because of the motorcycle single vehicle approval test, the MSVA. I wanted a larger curvature against which thing, because if it's on impact, you want, I think you need no sharp edges, but I wanted to be absolutely sure about that. So yeah, so I'm estimating this thing to be it's up to probably about 3 kilos by now, but it is still absolutely ridiculously light for what it is. Can you imagine making this out of steel or aluminium? You'd be months at it, and it would be, 75 kilos, all of that in steel. Yeah, when we get the Kevlar and the resin on it, it's going to add, the whole frame I'm estimating to be about 30 kilos, the whole lot. I think so. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Thank you.